All right, this week I was assigned Chapter 11, which is The Campaigns of Influence of James Farwell's book, Persuasion and Power, The Art of Strategic Communication. Right away, he starts talking about politics and how strategic communication can be applied in there to identify your popular following or your target audience, and then gain their support, and then be able to identify potential enemies and ways that they can affect your campaign, and then also maintaining your position of power by knowing what your audience wants to hear and what they don't like from what your enemy is saying, so you know what not to say. Then in the military, strategic communication is used a lot as well, as you can imagine. They use it to attack and defeat enemies. They use it to influence an enemy's decision. And then one of the main things they use it to is to focus on the target audience's center of gravity, which the center of gravity is typically like the decision makers, influential people, and then the populations. So for information strategy, in the military, they talk about molding, shaping, and influencing the attitudes and opinions of target audiences to affect their behavior, defining the stakes, and framing issues. And then the center of gravity is, like I said, it's kind of like the main people that a population that you're trying to influence follows. So, for example, it's like the popular people. So who's a select few that you can focus on to try to change their opinion in order to get those select people's following or bigger population to then in turn follow you as well. He goes on to talk about core precepts that govern campaigns of influence, successful outcomes for information strategies and strategic communication that compromise a campaign of influence must respect core precepts. The core precepts are pretty standard. You want to be able to define what are your objectives of your campaign. You want to be able to make a strategy that enables a victory, create a concept of design through strategy, use strategy and design to properly position a campaign to win, identify good messengers for you. So, for example, people that can speak and properly convey what you're trying to say for your campaign. And then the ways to communicate or the channels of communication. And then the other thing that I think is really important is being able to anticipate responses to your messages, not only from the people you're competing against, but also from your followers, being able to know how they will react to things that you are saying, and having that knowledge of your target audience will really help you succeed. And then providing effective rebuttals to your enemy's responses, and so on and so forth. Just basic arguing, debate skills, I guess. So that's basically what this talks about. So when thinking about how we can apply that outside of politics and military, I think it's really important in the real world as whatever you are. Like I said, the most important one is being able to understand how people will respond to what you say, and knowing ways to say it in order to win. So there's some things that someone won't agree with, but you can word them certain ways in order to have them understand it or even trick them into believing, which isn't always ethical, but sometimes it gets the job done. So my question this week is, what are ways that you restructure ideas in order to still have your same message come across, but in a way that will have a bigger following or a bigger understanding of the people around you? Yeah, that's my question.